The sweater.
That Ransom is wearing? What
yes,
sweater?
The sweater. All of the Twitter ladies were very thirsty for the sweater. They wanted him in the sweater.
I remember it's just a white sweater.
With some holes in it. Yeah, the thing is that it's draped around Chris Evans. So
right, it's the dorkiest sweater ever.
You can wear whatever you want when you're Chris Evans.
That's true.
You're on Midnight Local, the podcast from How to Drink, where we just talk about things.
Movies.
Pop culture.
Maybe some video games.
That too. All the things.
The stuff and things.
All of the stuff and the things on Midnight Local.
Let's get to it.
Sometimes I slip into podcast voice and I don't like it.
You don't sound different to me. Is it phone voice for you? Or are those similar things, or is podcast voice different?
I think podcast voice is different. Okay. Meredith, we have a podcast.
Got it.
Good morning. It's Greg and Mare, your drive time buddies. We're here to play fart noises and prank call people.
Yeah, you know how radio keeps the engagement up with exciting things to say.
Yeah, but I never want to sound like that. I want to sound like a normal fucking human.
That's fair. I think we settle into normal human. It's only the beginning.
I'm used to coming out of the gate on How to Drink.
That's
kind of at maximum volume.
It's true.
Grab the audience with some screaming insanity, and then I can settle into the episode. Oh my God, I'm going to drink liquid fire. Wow. Okay, guys, let's make the show. You know?
It's true. We don't have to do that here.
No, I don't got to do that.
Ease our way in.
Sidle on up and get real cozy with our audience. How's it going out there in Cozyville? You don't like that? Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Glass Onion today. What did you got any openers on that one?
Well, I rewatched it last night, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Homework.
I had to. Well, I did my homework because I was pretty tipsy, shall we say, drunk the first time I watched it. There's a lot that I forgot. And rewatching it yesterday, there was a ton that I forgot. So we gave it the old rewatch.
Okay.
I have to say, second time around, I liked it a lot better.
You liked it better the second time around?
I did.
I only have the benefit of a single viewing, and I was a little annoyed by this movie.
Yeah? Why?
So Glass Onion is a sequel to Knives Out. Knives Out I loved. I had a really great time with Knives Out. It felt like Ryan Johnson's like love letter to like PBS style mysteries and stuff like that. It felt like I was watching Foyle's War or something.
Yeah, I always say Agatha Christie. It feels very mousetrappy to me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely Agatha Christie. I mean, 100%. But I'm just like, I don't know. This movie did not feel like it took place in the same universe as the first one.
I totally agree with that.
Like it doesn't actually fit it as a sequel.
So rewatching it, the formula is very similar, almost identical.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's meet your cast of characters sort of in an individual way.
Yes.
And then they all come together for some sort of event or party. In Knives Out, it's an event that's happened in the past.
Right.
And then unfold the mystery. And then there's a flashback to take you back through what you missed.
Right.
And then a conclusion at the end where everyone finds out what happened.
So here's the thing for me. Knives Out felt like a mystery movie with some funny moments. Glass Onion felt like a comedy with one or two mystery moments.
That's very true.
And Knives Out felt like believably existed in the real world with the slight heightening that like a famous detective is a thing.
Well, and they're not... Glass Onion does a lot of jokes about real people, cameos, Hollywood cameos.
Yes.
There's the Jeremy Renner's hot sauce. There is Jared Leto's alcoholic kombucha that they're drinking throughout. Serena Williams is like on the screen so it's meant to be much more like inside. It's not even insider Hollywood jokes, just Hollywood jokes. You're poking at your friends. So I was thinking about this in a slightly different way, whereas it's, we're dealing kind of with like millionaires, the millionaire class in the first movie, which feels more accessible. I think that like our brains cannot quite wrap around how different million and billion is.
Sure.
Like, we physically can't understand it.
Sure.
And so if the movie is trying to bring you to that like heightened billionaire space, it's just going to feel completely different.
Yeah, but even Benoit Blanc his lifestyle feels like a cartoon. Like everything about this movie feels cartoonish to me and over the top, and not to its service, because it feels that way about every character. Like there is a billionaire in this movie, one,
right,
whom fine, let them live in a cartoon world. But also, like, before we ever meet that character, or certainly before Benoit does, Benoit is like in a bathtub with Hugh Grant baking bread and stuff, and that's a strange place for a film to open.
So I think they're making a COVID joke, which, watching it in December of 2022 wasn't as present in your mind, so it felt off. You weren't in on the joke anymore. It felt like it was making a past joke.
Yeah.
Like you're in a COVID party with Kate Hudson's character.
Right.
And they're just having like all the wild Hollywood parties you were hearing of. They were just making fun of things that were currently happening. But the problem is when the movie came out, they weren't currently happening anymore.
I do agree with that. I think that's 100%. It's all COVID jokes. It's all COVID jokes. But after Knives Out, the promise of a sequel, I was like, oh, cool. He's writing his own Hercule Poirot. Honestly, you could have said to me, oh, cool. This is a new Indiana Jones of mysteries. And instead, I think Glass Onion killed the potential for this having a life beyond 2 films.
Oh, they're developing the 3rd one right now.
I have zero interest because like it's a different genre in a way. Like there is no connective tissue between these 2 movies.
Besides
a character's name.
What I was thinking as I was watching it is like he fanboys over the billionaire and it doesn't feel like the same person. But then at the end, it's like it's an act.
I understand. Yes, I agree. It does not work for me at all. It doesn't. I'm not even getting into the mystery parts of it because I got thoughts there too. I got thoughts about this and you're going to hear about them all. But it felt to me like they abandoned every single thing about Knives Out that worked. And I wonder if Rian Johnson even understood what happened in Knives Out that was good. And I'm going to go on a tangent, which is this movie Drive. You ever seen Drive with, who's that dude? He's from Long Island and the ladies like him.
Oh, yeah.
Gosling.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of a different movie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I actually don't think I've seen Drive.
Oh, you never saw Drive? Oh, it's a great noir about a stunt driver from LA.
Oh, no, I have not.
He gets mixed up in some, and honestly, it's an awesome heel turn for, why can't I think of his name? He was such a terrible, he's the voice of Marlin in Albert Brooks. Yeah, talking about Albert Brooks, he plays the bad guy in the movie. He's awesome at it, ice cold. And then I used to do this thing, because I was insane, where I would watch a movie and then be like, I really liked that movie. Let's watch it again right now with the director's commentary on.
Okay.
Which we used to be able to do back in the days of DVD.
Yeah,
so
it's a very film student thing to do.
Oh, I know. It's insane person shit. But I went immediately and watched that movie with the director's commentary on. And Christoph Winding Refn, I think is his name, the director of that movie. He's like a Norwegian or Swedish guy, or maybe he's Danish. I don't know. He's from one of the places in Scandinavia. And he's talking through the process of making this movie and how, like, I didn't know, like, basically every single one of his instincts and choices that he wanted to make was subverted by happenstance. Like he didn't really think that Ryan Gosling was the right guy for the job, but then he went out to dinner with Ryan Gosling to humor him, and he was like deathly ill, like crapping his pants, deathly ill at this restaurant. And then Ryan Gosling like trapped him in a car and drove him around and basically made him like beg for the bathroom so that he would get the part or something. Like that was, I'm paraphrasing. It's been years and years since I listened to this. So if that's not what happened or I'm slightly askew, fine. But he was like, fine, you can have the job. And like, then the other casting parts, like he really wanted like really racially stereotypical characters for other roles, but like that was upset and stuff like that. That didn't happen. Like every choice he wanted to make in this movie was stymied. And it's by far the best movie he ever made.
Sure. Like sometimes you get too in your head about what you're working on.
No, I think he's a bad director who lucked into a very good movie. Because
Glass Onion?
No.
Oh,
no.
You're talking about Drive.
But I'm talking about like in general, like this thing can happen where, not every director is good, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people just get the job.
Yeah.
You just get the job. Maybe his movies work very good in another language. I watched Drive, fell in love with him, tried to watch any of his other stuff, could not stay awake. Very boring stuff.
Okay.
Other people love his stuff. I think that you're just a masochist. I really can't understand enjoying his work beyond that movie, which is great. But like, it was great in spite of everything he wanted it to be. He wanted it to be a completely different movie, and he couldn't make that movie. And I think he's unhappy with it, but it's a great movie. Like, it was huge critical acclaim. Only movie in his repertoire that people really like.
Just a big happy mistake.
Exactly.
Okay.
He stepped in magic shit.
Okay.
And I do wonder if, in a similar but detached vein, if Rian Johnson was himself oblivious to what was good about the first movie here, if he was oblivious to what was good about Knives Out.
I'm not convinced I'm quite that there. I think the first time I watched this movie, I was like, for me, it was like, it lost the charm. It wasn't as charming. It's also like characters you're supposed to know and already annoyed about. Like, they all represent like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk or Steve Jobs.
Totally Musk.
Yeah, I'm more Musk, definitely. I heard the Lionel character is like the Wozniak to Steve Jobs, like the sensible. I don't know this about them, but like
Wozniak, yeah, Steve Wozniak's even more sensible, honestly.
And then
more
like,
outspoken, actually.
Birdie has lines that I think directly relate her to an influencer. I forget her name. I wrote it down somewhere, but
I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah, so I mean, they're
Fergie.
No, but I mean, overall, it's more like a Kardashian type. But I think there's a particular influencer that stepped in it, and she actually used like her story about going on. There's a story where she's talking about someone comes at her. It is like, well, you went on Oprah and compared yourself to Harriet Tubman. And I guess there is, and this is the Kate Hudson character. And I guess there is a influencer who did that during Black History Month.
Oh, amazing.
So they pulled that out. So it's like,
that's a great thing to say.
They're playing people that we're supposed to know. In Knives Out, they're playing archetypes we're supposed to know.
Sure. I guess. None of those characters felt like archetypes to me.
In Knives Out?
I guess they like archetypes, like the angry woman. The mooch,
the son that's supposed to inherit everything from, the golden child.
I will say this. Every time a new character was introduced in Knives Out, I was thrilled and just like, ooh, this is fun. And every time a character was introduced in Glass Onion, I was just like, this movie is still on. Oh God. Just like pulling teeth.
They're not very likable.
I don't mean like, not like I was bored of them. There was nothing to discover.
Oh, see, Kate Hudson, she's just more and more her mom in every movie. And I just think she's adorable and fun to watch.
I want more ugly people in movies.
True.
I would like less adorable people.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You love John Waters. That is the epitome of that.
Yeah. You know what else I miss about older movies?
What?
Teeth, man. You watch these movies now. This is like, I've been watching Rian Johnson's show that he does with Natasha Lyonne, Poker Face.
Yeah.
I love that show, mostly.
There you go. So he didn't just stumble into something good.
I agree. Well, no. I don't think Rian Johnson's a very talented director. Okay. I don't think he's like Nicholas Winding Refn, who may or may not be a talented director. Probably is to some degree, just like doesn't connect for me. I think that Rian Johnson's a very talented director, but I think that he may not be aware of what was good about Knives Out.
I would be more apt to agree with you if it wasn't like so highly rated. People love this movie.
People hate this movie.
It's more, what am I trying to say? Give me my words. Divisive than Knives Out for sure. But like, It's got like a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's been critically acclaimed. Like, people more seem to like it than not like it.
I'll tell you what, not in my circle. I didn't see anybody with a positive review of that movie. And I'm talking not just like, fanboys, like, normies, but like, reviewers.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. We have different circles.
That's true. Actually, I haven't talked to a lot of my friends about it. It kind of, Knives Out was something that like hit the culture so hard and everyone was talking about it. Yeah. This one fizzled out so fast.
The sweater
that Ransom is wearing. What sweater?
The sweater. All of the Twitter ladies were very thirsty for the sweater. They wanted him in the sweater.
I remember it's just a white sweater.
With some holes in it. Yeah, the thing is that it's draped around Chris Evans. So
right. It's the dorkiest sweater ever.
You can wear whatever you want when you're Chris Evans.
That's true. That is true.
When you're built like a department store mannequin, it all looks good on you.
Yeah. Well, this movie also just has more, like, you've got the guy who's already on the island who's like just drinking beer and smoking weed, who never pays off. It's just like
nothing.
It's just supposed to be funny. There's nothing there besides like a stupid punchline. It's all about these cameos. What's his name? Ethan Hawke is like his assistant for like 2 seconds and then is out of it again. And I think the first time
Ethan Hawke was on it?
he like walks in, says something to Miles. And he's supposed to be some sort of assistant for Miles, who's like leaving the island on his way out. And it's just like a second cameo and when they all get to the island. Things like that for me were so distracting that it took the second watch through. I knew all of that distraction was just noise.
Yeah.
So it was easier for me to like get into the plot of the movie. Whereas the first time I watched it, I think I was like, I was drunk, but I was also just like, oh, Ethan Hawke's here. He must be a character.
Right.
Waiting for him to come back, waiting for something to pay off with the like weed guy. It was just, it wasn't as tight as Knives Out. I also think that like billionaire status and billionaire islands, like everyone's got a bad taste in their mouth about that. And it's just very sad place to be for a whole movie.
Well, so that was I think we were touching on that before, is that like, there's this idea that like, and I've heard people say it's like, oh, but it's supposed to be a cartoonish film because billionaires live in a cartoonish world. But like, there is no Alice in Wonderland moment here. Or not Alice in Wonderland. Or I was actually thinking of Dorothy. There is no Dorothy moment where all of a sudden the world is in color. Like, we start with Benoit Blanc being already living in a cartoonish, ridiculous world.
They all are. The party is the Joe Rogan character being chastised by his mother and turning into exactly what he's like criticizing right away. It's all just like joke, punchline, joke, punchline, joke, punchline.
And they mostly miss.
What?
Most of the jokes miss.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of like, I get it. Like,
I think it was a joke that the actor and the director got and nobody vetted it. Like, I swear, I really feel like this movie was underwritten.
Yeah, because it
slapped
was
together.
We'll make fun of celebrities everybody knows, and it'll be a good time.
I think COVID movie is right. It was slapped together because we had nothing to do and everybody's available. So,
well, and they put them all together. They shot it on an island. Like, it was the best maybe they could do with the circumstances. Maybe the script change. I actually don't.
I don't know.
Think
either.
so.
I'm just talking about like you're talking about the cameos,
right?
Like, I think the function of this movie was everybody's available. Who's the distributor? I'm Ryan Johnson. They've got a bucket of money for me to spend. Okie dokie.
Yeah. Like,
are we ready to shoot it? I guess. Do you have a script? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think that I really think this is I think this is a movie that shouldn't exist. I don't think any effort or thought was put into this movie.
I wouldn't go
all.
that far at all. I think when they start to unspool what actually happened and that
I hate this movie more the more I talk about it.
The character,
the twin,
Andy and Helen, when you reveal there's the twin and then you kind of go back through the story because you know that they're both there. That's where it starts to feel more like Knives Out to me. You've gotten through all of sort of the jokes and the setups of the character, and now you just get to get into what happened here.
Two things. One, twin plot. Oh boy.
Right.
Oh boy. Come on. But number two, and nobody knew. Come on. I never told any of my best friends in the world that I have a twin sister. I
do think they knew, but I think that they just don't value each other's lives enough to give a shit. So it like was information that they just like forgot about.
The other thing is about the jokes. I got to go back to the jokes.
Okay.
In Knives Out, the jokes felt very witty. They felt kind of sophisticated, very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
The jokes here felt like they were written in crayon.
Mostly, yes.
I fucking hated this movie.
There's one joke that I liked that stood out to me. Then they're like, so they come into the party at night and he's handing them all their drink that he remembers that that's their favorite drink. And he gives the politician a glass of room temperature white wine.
Yeah.
And I just love that because like politicians are working a room all night at the party. So the idea that she never get to drink her wine, so she only ever drinks room temperature white wine. Yeah. It's good. I like it.
I like that. There were definitely jokes that were funny. There was moments, sure. I definitely chuckled here and there. It just, and I'm going to say the other thing people always defend it for. I was like, it felt stupid. And people always say, but that's the point. I'm like, yeah, but it felt stupid. It didn't feel stupid like, oh, it's stupid. Like it's trying to be stupid. It felt stupid like it's stupid.
Well, and what made it stand out so differently to you from Knives Out? Is it just...
I'd have to watch Knives Out again to really have a great answer there. Knives Out felt like there really was something there to unravel. I guess like you had said that people criticize it for having an unravelable.
Unravelable.
You unravel something.
Yeah.
But what if it was unravelable?
Impossible to unravel.
Yes. It had a impossible to unravel plot. I don't really remember that being that, to be honest, but I guess that's the case.
So she never gave him the wrong medicine. There's just no way you could know that because she does it on instinct. She's so good at her job that even though it was the bottles were switched, she just felt something different about the liquid and instinctually switched them back. And so there's no way she could have killed him because she gave him the right medicine. And what can lose her the inheritance is that she did accidentally kill him.
Right.
And then there's a big reveal at the end where he reads the toxology report and reveals that.
Got it.
So there's no way you can put that piece together totally.
No, probably not.
There is something to seeing these millionaire characters lose their shot at their inheritance that is satisfying. Sure. And you can't get that in Glass Onion, even though his clear thing is exposed and it's not going to become the thing. Like, you can't punish a billionaire.
Right.
So it's just like, at some point you're screaming into a void that's not very fun to scream into. And that's where I had more fun watching it the second time. I found it entertaining. I don't hate it as much as you do. But what I do agree with you on is that like, it just doesn't feel fun to watch. It feels like, oh God, that is what this is like, or that is what Elon Musk is like. And it's like helpless.
I'm going to take objection now to this idea that, because like Benoit Blanc, why does he not walk in there and immediately solve this entire thing? Right. And then his answer is, it was so obvious. It was so stupid that I couldn't see it.
Well, he does keep saying throughout the movie that he's bad at simple games.
Yeah. But how did he ever become a great detective? Because most murders are very stupid.
Right. True.
You know, how did you come up from the ranks of detectiving to these rarefied heights, these rarefied heights, if you can't solve simple fucking murders?
But do you think he's also trying to tear down this empire? Like, he needs the place to blow up to win. He knows there's no way to arrest this guy. He burns up the napkin. Like, the only way to beat him is to have his world literally blown up. And the only way to do that, he can't do it legally. The only way to do that is to play his game a little bit.
Benoit Blanc is so smart. Why did he let him burn up the napkin?
That's true, too. It was sitting right there. We don't know that much about Benoit Blanc yet.
He's not a very good detective. That's what I'm saying. He's not a very good detective. He's very good at solving like conundrums or riddles.
Right, he's a Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes is a good detective. He actually solves shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But is he like quick on his feet? I don't know how he is. And like,
I think he's supposed to be very quick on his feet.
Okay.
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes is like, I think the least interesting thing about him is that he's like perfect.
Except that he like can't relate to humans.
In the show Sherlock.
That's not true in the books.
I don't think so.
He's not like
I don't think
shut
that
in.
Like people being able to relate to each other is even a factor in those stories.
Sure.
It's just not written with that in mind.
I thought he was always sort of a surly fellow and that like Watson kind of gets him and can communicate with him. And that's how he becomes his partner. sort of obsessive person.
Maybe, but I don't think that like is considered to be a hindrance or anything like that in those stories. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I don't know. I haven't read like the original books.
You can project that onto him from a modern standpoint.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But like, anyway, we're off topic there. I don't know. I just question that entire thesis that like, well, I couldn't solve it as fast as this other thing, or I couldn't solve it. The thing that was hard about it was that it was simple. That to me is stupid because it was just standard, regular old, like I said on Twitter or something like that, man, McNulty and Bunk would have had that shit in 5.
Yeah.
You know, you get the guys from The Wire out there. They got it. They get it done in a minute. You know, well, that guy did it. How do you know? He had the motive.
And, you know, it does sort of break with the beginning. He's like, I just need a really good case. I need something like I can really sink my teeth into. And he had it solved. So he didn't really get that, I guess.
What do you mean he had it solved?
Well, because by the time she brings him the box, like they kind of know what they're going in to do from the beginning. He doesn't, though. He doesn't know that Miles is the killer. He doesn't know who's the person.
Right.
Right. So that's what he's trying to solve.
In fact, he insists repeatedly that it couldn't be Miles because who else would be implicated?
Right.
You know, Miles has the most to gain by this. He would never do that. It'd be stupid.
But he figures it out in the scene where he kills the Joe Rogan character.
Yes. But that's like pretty late in the movie, right?
It's about midpoint, yeah, because that's where the whole like fun house of murder sort of kicks off.
Murder house of fun.
Is there anything redeemable about it to you?
No. I didn't like it. I had no fun watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the ending was really dumb.
Yeah.
Let's blow it all up and all just live.
That's true. Actually, watching it back the second time, I was like, wait, did they die? And then they go into this room and everything's on fire and they're all just like hacker in the middle of the room. It's like, okay, yeah.
It's real cartoon shit. Like it's actual Looney Tunes stuff. It might as well just turn into an accordion after falling off a cliff.
Well, and it does sort of mirror a moment in Knives Out that is so much more fun where he's got the knife and he goes to stab her and you realize that it's a toy knife.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's fun. It's great. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I love that. Let's blow up the room and not die.
Right. Not a misdirection.
I don't understand that at all. It just seems dumb. Yeah. It really seems like we just ran out of ideas, finished the movie.
Well, and it also leaves you with like clear. So it's like, okay, so houses are going to blow up, but the people will be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. These houses will explode harmlessly. It's not really as big a deal as you think it is. It's a totally acceptable risk.
Minor problem to solve.
Yeah. Also, I don't really understand, like, I wish they had done a little bit more work on what was wrong with Clear, with the special fuel. Like, why was it, like, maybe it doesn't need to be, because, like, it's just, like, magic science.
Right. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I do. It pissed me off. Like, so it's hydrogen? Is that what it is? It's like a form of hydrogen. Where are you getting it from? How are you making it? You need stuff to make hydrogen. What are you making it out of? Is that clean? How's that clean? Okay, but why is the hydrogen so unmanageable? We're already managing all this natural gas. How is this better? I don't understand. Like, where are you getting it from? You know, like in my brain, I was like, fusion. Just make it fusion. Fusion would be so much better because it's like, oh, I get that. That works. Yeah.
That's true. Knives Out is grounded. You don't have a moment of, you don't have to have like magical thinking to.
No.
There's no suspension of disbelief.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm in there.
That is like where things really start to break for you is when people start to say like, no, this is fine. You don't need to know more.
If you ever say that to me, I will rip your teeth out. I fucking hate that shit. Yeah.
My tiny Joss Whedon teeth.
You have totally normal teeth. I'm looking at them. You don't have those Joss teeth. She's wrong. Maybe she needs glasses. I don't know. You have perfectly normal teeth. Yeah. That's true. I really like, same thing with D&D too. Is like, I really want to, when I play Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, I'm always very interested in like, how does this setting work? Mm-hmm. How does this economy work? We're going to get way off the rails here, but I'm just going to do it. One of my big complaints is that in D&D as written, there's just magic everywhere. Yeah. Magic is everywhere. Right. And then in practice, player characters very seldom die and they have access to healing magic. And the game also tells you that like, man, what an adventurer can make in like one dungeon crawl is lifetime worth of like laborer's income, right? So if you add all of that up, there's magic everywhere. Magic healing is pretty available, right? Unless the player characters are just special. Maybe they are, but like they have pretty good access to it. There is a pretty low risk right? Because once you become like a hero, like, I don't know, 50%, 75%, you're going to make it to level 3, level 8, whatever. Probably better than that at most people's tables. You could probably survive one adventure. Why is anybody farming? Why is anybody farming? Why does anybody not reach for that brass ring? Why do they spend their life in toil? And to me, like, that has to be a question that you have to have an answer for.
Okay.
Like, it's very important for me that this setting works. And then a lot of people wave their hand and they say, why are you worrying about that? It's a fucking world with dragons. And I'm like, yeah, but there's rules for that. We understand, like, it makes sense in that setting. It has to make sense in that setting. I hate when people hand wave that stuff away. It really bothers me.
And Clear is representing self-driving cars, like things that are dangerous that we're like, we're just going to mass produce it and let's make it happen. But like, how is it different from something like the beginning of Return of the Living Dead? You have this gas that goes into the air.
It tells you the rules.
Those are the rules, but how is the gas? Where did the gas come from? Why is it work that way?
The army made it to get rid of marijuana. And then the film stays true to that material. What I'm saying, like, if you take the D&D, for example, right? Mm-hmm. We know that adventurers are rare. We know that most people are laborers, but nothing about that setting reinforces that or makes that make sense, right? Like,
you have to make it make sense.
Just there's nothing in there that, like, that's not what would happen.
Right.
There's no motivation for that to be reality. You could take reality and inject into it. We have a drug that makes zombies. Okay. What happens when you use the drug? It makes zombies. Okay. But zombies come out when we use the drug. Okay.
In this movie, we came up with science to make this thing.
I agree. But I that's why, but like that one in particular irks me a little bit just because I think they said it was hydrogen specifically. And it's like, yeah, but that's like, if you had just said, we found a magic.
Right. Sure.
We found magic diamonds in this mine that produce energy, I would be like, that's great. That's fine. Okay. But because you said hydrogen, I happen to know, just from paying attention for the past 15 years, all of the problems that are wrong with a hydrogen-based economy. And it's like, they didn't answer a fucking single question I have as soon as you say hydrogen. Not one. I don't think Rian Johnson knew what was wrong with hydrogen. I don't think he thought about it.
No, I don't think so.
Well, then he shouldn't make a fucking movie about it. How does that sound? That's what I think. I think you shouldn't fucking open your mouth.
You know what I'm always skeptical of in society, but they use it as a trope in this movie. Anyone who says that they invented something on a napkin.
Ooh.
And so
napkin invention. What a trope.
Yeah. But it's not a movie trope. It is like a worldwide life trope.
Do people still make that claim?
I made a list.
Oh shit. She made a list.
I made a list.
The napkin inventions. Let's hear them.
Things that have been invented on a napkin. Shark Week.
Literally, now I want to be clear. These people literally claimed on a napkin.
Yep. Southwest Airlines.
Shark Week. So I just want to back that up. Shark Week, the actual TV event from Discovery Channel.
They were
somebody at a napkin. Shark Week.
So they were talking at a cocktail bar. Everyone's talking at the bar. These bars all have cocktail napkins, by the way. Yeah. And everyone always has a pen handy, and they're jotting down ideas.
Shark Week was born in the 90s. I'm going to say I believe Shark Week. Let's rate these.
Okay, let's see if you believe them
because,
or not.
like, I think that, yes, that happened in the 90s. People had to have pens on them, like, as a religious, like, you know, as an important thing, particularly studio executives. You got to have that pen. You're going out for drinks. I think Shark Week could have happened on a napkin. What's next?
Shark Week. So these all did have backstories. I didn't write all of them down.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Southwest Airlines.
All right, you're going way back. 70s, right? When was Southwest born?
I don't know. I know it was born in San Antonio, but I'm not sure
80s,
when.
70s. And what the hell do you write down on a napkin? Just start airline?
It was, they wanted to have a lower cost, domestic airline.
Oh, that's not an invention though. Like a lot of people said that's a good idea. We should make air flying cheaper.
Do you think the first time that was discussed was on a cocktail napkin?
No. Not only do I not think that was like, no, I'm saying I won't decline to think that like a napkin may have been involved at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe when we're working out the name.
Okay.
But the idea of an airline, no, I'm not. No, that one doesn't ring true to me.
You're calling false on that one.
Yeah, false.
All right, you'll like this one. Aaron Sorkin says he wrote the beginning of A Few Good Men on a napkin.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I didn't know Aaron Sorkin wrote A Few Good Men.
I guess the play, and that's what got
was it a play?
I think it was a play that turned into a movie, and that's how his career took off.
Oh, I had no idea he was even affiliated with it. No, he probably wrote the screenplay. I don't know. The idea that Aaron Sorkin writes his stuff blind drunk in a bar doesn't surprise me. I can't stand Aaron Sorkin's writing.
Sure. Richard Berry wrote Louie Louie on toilet paper.
I buy that.
The famous story that at a wrap party for Toy Story, they came up with A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, and WALL-E, all on a napkin.
Well, I don't know about on a napkin? Oh, I don't know about that. I know that I thought they had started the company with like those 4 movies or whatever that they knew they wanted to make from day one. That's what I had heard, which is kind of why Pixar movies started to fall apart after they made those 4 movies.
Right, exactly.
But napkin, nah, no need for a napkin. Whiteboard. I think whiteboard.
We know this one is untrue. The Turf Queen, if I can call her that, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
I couldn't care less.
Okay.
Fine. That she wrote the beginnings of Harry Potter on a napkin.
How much of the beginnings of anything could you fit on a napkin? I'm going to question anybody who claims that they started writing anything other than one word on a napkin.
Wizarding school.
Yeah, like have you ever written on a napkin?
It sucks.
It sucks. It's fallen apart.
That's why toilet paper seemed a little off to me, because it's also very difficult.
Well, one, I don't know what this condition of toilet paper in the UK is like. It might be much more heavy duty, particularly in a post-war environment. It might have been something like just like wood pulp. I don't know. And 2, I'm gonna take him seriously, but not literally on that one.
Sure.
I believe that he wrote it in the bathroom. I believe that he wrote it while pooping. Right. I believe that toilet paper was involved in its creation. I am willing to believe that he wrote it on toilet paper, but I don't require that to be true for this one to be true enough.
Fair. We got the Laffer curve, which led to trickle-down economics on a cocktail napkin.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Also, the Gettysburg Address on the back of a letter, which that I believe he was traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
Writing it. Same thing with Francis Scott Key and the Star Spangled Banner. Back of a letter. I
don't see any. Well, first off, paper was expensive. You had to reuse it, but I don't see any reason for him to lie about that. For anybody to lie about that. Yeah.
But these were some of the famous ones. What else? Oh, the Trump advisor, Sebastian Gorka's plan to split Libya into 3. He read it. I think he actually presented the European diplomat with the napkin. He wrote that plan or read it off the napkin to him.
Yeah, I buy that. Does he claim that?
I don't know. I think
because that could also be an insult.
Something that like other people saw. I think. Yeah. So there you go. That's all I wrote down. I'm sure there's more.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, some of those are pretty suspect.
I just like the idea that it's like, and like the idea just came to me. And so napkin. Now you're writing notes in your cell phone.
That's true.
If you're writing anything on a napkin, you're like really trying to like be part of that part of history.
Nowadays, yeah. For sure.
I also think like one of the things about this movie like that just makes it feel less successful to me is like I'm exhausted by the disruptors and the just the like corruption of crawling your way to the top. I'm done with reading headlines about from the New York Times that are making the case for J.K. Rowling. I'm done with being told that if I skip breakfast I can have more money. Like I think like it's funny, not funny, haha. And the characters you're watching in Knives Out are like, you want to see them get what's coming to them, but like Toni Collette's character in that movie is like,
who's Toni Collette?
Toni Collette is like in
Knives Out.
Yeah, is like the one whose husband has passed or she's divorced and he's helping her daughter go to college. Oh. And then you've got like the like Nazi 14-year-old who's like it's like, you idiot kid. Like I can laugh at that and not feel like my life is being ruined by these people.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they were characters that you they were just more fun. It was just a more fun movie. I don't know. I felt like, God, I feel like now I'm treading over my own feet again. It was just dumb. It was just not good. I really don't want to spend any more oxygen on it.
Fair enough.
Can we do something else now?
Well, since there's a Knives Out 3, what would you want to see from a Knives Out 3?
A return to form. A return to form.
The much needed return to form in the third movie.
Yeah, I would like to see. All right, here's what I would like. I would like there to be a smaller story about a self-contained mystery. Put them on a train. Do that. Do a classic. Do an Orient Express, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just do that. That's good. No explosion. No explosions, please. And also, let's dial Benoit down just a little bit.
Hey.
What?
I don't know why Benoit's not a problem for me.
Yeah. In the first movie, he reads as enigmatic.
Right.
In the second movie, he reads as affectation.
They're giving you more and more of him as you go.
I don't want more.
I know you don't. I do. That's
don't
where I
want
disagree
more.
with you. I'm happy to learn more.
The more you tell me, the less I'm going to like.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I know for you that's true.
No, but unless you, Ryan Johnson, or whoever wrote it, unless you have exactly the same ideas in my head, I don't want them.
That's an impossible feat.
You created Benoit Blanc as a character who is Blanc with a few idiosyncrasies, and you let the audience fill in those blanks. And then you decided to start filling in those blanks on top of those things we've already filled in. Okay. And now I have to decide if I'm going to go with you or with the stuff that I already made up that already fits my own expectations, that I already like better. When we first saw Star Wars, when I was young, okay?
Yeah.
He describes the Jedi as an organization for peace. And like it is spoken about with this reverence and like this mysteriousness. And it sounds like a secret order of people who like met in alleyways and like flashed a symbol at each other, right? And that like, you know, we fought in a war and like we had this particular religion that we kept between us. They didn't say that the war was about the Jedi, right? You meet Han Solo, who has never ever seen anything in his life, and you remember that he's older than Luke Skywalker in his life that made him believe in the Force, except for the fact that he would have grown up on a planet that was under Jedi control at one time, right? So we had an image growing up of what the Jedi must be like, of just like these hooded figures meeting under like standing stones in like under the night of the full moon to discuss their philosophy and to practice their sorcery and their religion. And they had a very limited amount of power. And then and there was a lot of blank space in there for us to fill in with, what is the Clone Wars? He was on a spice run. What does all that mean? And then they answered all that shit in the prequels. They answered it, and they answered it in a way that nobody was imagining, and that wasn't fun. The ideas were worse.
Sure. I understand, and I agree with you there. I think, especially with something that you've had that much time to and fan fiction and people building this world and expanding this world in their heads, and then you go and say like new canon, and everyone's like, no, now it's gone. In the grand tradition of mystery storytelling, the characters, the detective is us. The detective is a blank place for us to observe the story through. The characters are all of the usual suspects that surround that point. And if you start to develop that detective into a character, I don't think it stays a detective story. I think it becomes an action movie. I don't know, it becomes something else. To be fair, though, they didn't give him a ton of stuff. Like, you know that he's bored in his downtime and he gets kind of depressed, and that he is gay, and that
we know that.
Yeah.
When do we know that?
Hugh Grant is his domestic partner, making bread in his apartment. It is. I looked it up. It's intentional.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yes.
Is Hugh Grant gay?
Well, in the movie he is.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, he's not in real life.
No, I didn't think so.
No, definitely
but he's
not.
Playing a version of Hugh Grant who is gray.
He's playing Benoit's domestic partner.
He's playing Hugh Grant. He calls him Hugh.
Does he? That's funny. But he's not gay in real life, but in the movie he is.
That's why I didn't think that they were gay. I thought that they were just like bosom buddies, like they were just pals.
Maybe not. They call him domestic partner in the like Wikipedia. That's what he's like billed as.
Yeah, that's Wikipedia. I don't mind him being gay. I think it's more fun with him being inexplicably flamboyant, to be honest. But
yes.
Okay.
So they give him that. But other than that, you don't give him too much more. You're just adding like a little bit of context.
He runs in this circle of very famous people. He lives in very fancy penthouse apartments.
But I mean, everyone knows who he is. He is a famous detective.
It's just weird, by the way.
Yeah.
That's like that should be the one caveat that the setting asks you to accept, that famous detectives exist.
I was like, yeah, exactly.
That's a thing, a famous detective, which is like, Hercule Poirot, I can't pronounce it, is the same thing. Like Hercule is very famous.
Right.
He's Hercule for the most part, right?
I don't know much about that character.
Oh, he's Agatha Christie's recurring detective.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He's got the mustache. Murder on the Orient Express is a Hercule Poirot story.
Okay.
As is Murder on the Nile. He's Hercule Poirot.
Which they've made a bunch of those. Didn't they make a Murder on the Nile movie?
So Kenneth Branagh has been doing the Poirot films.
Have you seen any of them?
I think I saw Murder on the Orient Express. It did not really leave a strong impression.
But I've heard that people are kind of like, this is definitely the chosen.
Absolutely.
Series.
I think a big part of that too is that, like, Agatha Christie stuff is old.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of it is just
so it actually follows those scripts.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think they're pretty faithful adaptations. They're not like, to my knowledge, they're not like modernizing or anything like that.
Got it.
I feel like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like he's more fun the less I know about him. And that allows for those fun moments where you find out something incongruous about him. As we find out more about himself and see his domestic life and stuff like that, and how, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say over the top, but how like large his life is, you know what I mean? Then those unusual discoveries that, you might pepper in, like, oh, well, I won. I'm just giving an example. Like, I almost went to the US Open in tennis. I was one of the great tennis stars of 1987 or something like that. You didn't know that about me? I'm a tennis champion. Like those kinds of like little enigmatic plot drops that may crop up in a imagined Benoit Blanc series that goes on forever lose their potency.
Yeah. But Indiana Jones, it adds to that story. You get to know his backstory. You see him as a kid.
Indiana Jones isn't a mystery story. Indiana Jones is an action character. He's an adventure character.
Well, I do wonder if that's where they're going with the third. Because now there's regrets that they didn't name it a Knives Out, like Benoit Blanc mystery, making him the Indy, the Bond, Which is funny too, because I almost, to some extent, it seems like he's just going to turn into gay Bond. Does seem that, or like gay Sherlock. Yeah, which I guess is probably fun for I can't think of his name now, the actor. Oh, for Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig, who played James Bond for so long. That's true. Yeah, it is sort of like he is just continuing. I mean, it's a different character, but yeah, exactly. Anti-Bond, yeah. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. It stinks to really like the first version of something and then walk away from an anticipated sequel feeling let down. I was so like, oh shit. A Knives Out sequel. I was like one of the only movies I was excited about in a very long time. I guess we're not supposed to say this anymore. I am playing devil's advocate a little bit. The first time I saw it, I wasn't thrilled either. I had a lot. I wouldn't probably have watched it again if we hadn't done this podcast. Meredith, do you know how fucking frustrating this conversation has been with you since you've been disagreeing with me at every turn? Are you telling me you secretly agree with me? I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just trying to find something to say besides I hate this movie. I've been over here like trying to not rip out my own hair. Like, what is wrong with her? No, like I didn't hate it as much the second time. I don't think I would have watched it again if it hadn't have been for the podcast. Yeah, for this. I know. What do you think is the greatest mystery film of all time? Oh God, I'd have to pull up a list of mystery films. It's a tough one to pull. Let's look. I just threw it out there. I didn't have any planning for that. I don't even know if I know the answer. This will piss you off. The National Board of Review put this movie on their top 10 movies of 2022. Oh, well, as a guy who used to go to National Board of Review screenings and talk to those people, I can tell you that they're all fucking morons. So don't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. And it was nominated for writing, I think. The Oscars this year. None of these are mysteries. None of them. Picture, I was looking at the listing of Best Picture. I think we were talking about this last episode. And I was just like, okay, yeah. Well, you only have to be the best of the movies that came out that year. So okay, so 7, Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects is a good mystery. That's a mystery. I don't know if Seven's a mystery. Like a mystery, you have to have suspects.
Right. And you know who the killer is in Seven.
They don't. I mean, yeah, they do. They're just trying to find him. Usual Suspects is a good example.
That's true.
I would also say like, God, Hitchcock's probably got a few, right?
His are more like Psycho is, you don't know what's happening. I guess if that's classified as a mystery.
I don't know if it is.
Like, he killed her. You just don't know why.
Yeah. North by Northwest. Is that a mystery? There's mysteries to unravel. Yeah, like the mystery is, who is this guy that everybody thinks I am? Have you seen North by Northwest?
I haven't. I know. That's Rachel always does that as well.
That's like that is my favorite Hitchcock.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That movie's good. Oh, shit. No, it's not good. I don't want to like overhype it now. If I overhype it, it's going to ruin it for you, I promise. But
I don't think you can really overhype Hitchcock at this point.
You can.
Gone Girl was a mystery.
Never saw that one.
Yeah, the book is better than the movie, but...
my wife told me about it, and I said, that sounds dumb.
See, also, Get Out, these are weird classifications. I don't think Get Out is really a mystery either. Again, it's a mystery in that you don't know what's happening. But I guess that is still mystery. It's just not solving a mystery.
No. Every movie's got a turn in the third act. Like, every movie has to have some kind of a surprise here, right? Be very boring if there wasn't something happening that we didn't expect. A mystery means a specific thing. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
There's something happened. We don't know who did it. We've got a cast of suspects. That's a mystery. A science fiction movie where you don't understand how the science fiction world works. That's not a mystery. You know what's a good one? Fallen. You ever see that?
Nope.
Ooh, that's a good movie.
See, now we're just adding to the list.
Don't ruin it for her, guys. Don't ruin Fallen for her. That's a good one.
Is Memento a mystery?
It is a mystery. I hate that. I mean, it's a gimmicky mystery, but it's a mystery.
I haven't watched that movie since high school.
Yeah, me either. I think I saw it once.
Sixth Sense?
I don't know. I figured that one out too quick, so.
Do you like overall mysteries? Like if someone invited you, have you ever done like a dinner mystery
in middle school or high school we did that once?
Yeah.
I wanted it to be more fun.
So they guide you through it. You kind of know where it's going. No one's that's someone needs to perfect those and like redistribute them.
I think that there are like kits and stuff that you can get now, like subscriptions, like mystery box subscriptions.
You can. They're like whodunits. And someone in the group is a killer and you're reading your scripts through the night to sort of figure it out. But they're not very clever. The ones that I've played aren't very clever. My mom once, for her New Year's Eve party, set up Clue in our house.
Oh, wow.
And everyone got assigned a character and came dressed as their character.
Oh, wow.
And each room was a room in Clue, and they played live Clue.
Did they have to roll dice to go from room to room?
I think they did, yeah. What? And like we had...
That's amazing.
We had like, I remember my Dimetapp bottle was covered with a thing that said poison. And like, so we had the props that moved from room to room as well.
That's cool. Did you have secret passages?
No. Yeah, my mom like dug tunnels under the house.
Dude, my grandmother's house had secret passages.
Well, and that's part of the fun of this for me is like in
the beginning.
Okay, I'll come back around to it. Part of the fun of this in the beginning for me in the first act is this idea that they're going with old friends to like play a murder mystery on this fantastical island, and I do like think that would be so much fun to do. As a child, having passages in your grandmother's house, that must have been a blast.
Yeah, she had secret passages. It was an old house, kind of a summer house over here built in the shore. And there was a couple different kinds of secret passages. So the most obvious one was the servant stair that went to the kitchen from upstairs. That was like a real narrow, rickety stairway. Mm-hmm. And the door was kind of hidden. So, if you didn't know where to look for it, you wouldn't have spotted it. And that was cool because you could like disappear off this way or go that way. And then all the bedrooms were upstairs. And I guess this is how they dealt with like, quote, air conditioning back in the 1800s. Every bedroom had doors that connected one bedroom to the next. But because my grandmother got real into weird 70s goth stuff, there was like tapestries hanging on all the walls. So I mean, I'm not joking when I said I was like 14 when I found out that these doors that it connected the rooms existed. Like I didn't know they were there. They were all behind the tapestries.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And then also it was one of the houses that had eaves. So on the other side of every room, there was like sideways attic that you could crawl into, and then that wrapped around the house, and you could come back into any other room from the like sideways attic as well. And then there was also the third floor, which also had like eaveses and sideways attic and stuff up there as well.
That sounds like magic as a kid.
No, it was scary.
No?
That house scared the shit out of me as a kid. Okay. I love it now, but as a kid, it was spooky as hell.
Yeah, I remember after my grandfather passed.
The place felt haunted.
He had an addition built onto his house, and one of the entrances to the additions that they had built like in the 90s was through a closet. So you'd like walk into the closet and come out on the other side. It was like this added apartment to the house. And so while we were like cleaning out his house, my nephews were it was the craziest thing to them to go upstairs and go through the, I mean, it's just magical.
Going through the wardrobe.
Yeah, they must have been like 3 and 5.
Into the second apartment.
Yeah, exactly. Into the apartment.
Into the magical apartment.
It was like his office that he ended up using it for.
You ever get into any mystery TV shows?
I like mysteries, but I'm trying, like, I'm struggling right now to really think of something I've gotten into.
I like Foyle's War.
Okay.
Pretty into that one if you've never seen it.
Yeah, give me some mysteries to watch.
Foyle's War is a BBC show. It's good.
Okay.
It's a mystery show. He's I don't know, they have weird police ranks in the UK. Detective Sergeant Lieutenant Inspector or something.
Right, okay.
He's an important guy. And it's World War II, and he wants to go to the war, but they don't let him because they're like, we need you holding down the fort here on the south of England. And so he solves mysteries throughout World War II on the south of England.
Okay.
That's a good one. Like that, week to week, very fun. That's it.
It's like Clue. Clue is sort of similar to this. Like, it's not a mystery. It's more comedy than mystery.
Yeah, but Clue is actually a mystery. Yeah. Somebody did it. And actually, you know the story about how that was released, right?
No.
Oh, man. They shot 4 different endings for Clue, and every theater got one of the 4 endings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did know this story.
Yeah. And it wasn't until they released it like for home video or whatever that they put all 4 endings together.
Oh, like all pieces of them together.
The 4 endings go back to back. They work together. And I think they were designed to do that because it's like each one is like, no. That's not what happened. It was like this, those are like, but like in theaters, apparently, it was before my time. You only got one of them.
Okay. So, Charles Dickens died writing The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Okay.
And so they took it and made a musical melodrama out of it.
Most people don't know what a melodrama is.
So melodrama is like you boo and hiss at the villains and you cheer when you see it's interactive theater to an extent.
I had heard that a melodrama was merely a musical that wasn't a comedy. It was a dramatic musical.
Oh, interesting. I always thought melodrama is like, and maybe I'm miscategorizing this as like shows that were done out west where you like cheered for the villain, you had like crowd interaction.
Look it up. Let's find out. I want to know in theater because people use it in common parlance to mean overly dramatic, like melodramatic. Oh God, it's so heavy.
Like, what is a melodrama? Orchestral music, songs used to accompany the action, right? And you've got like do do do. Like, I think of like people sneaking around and like you'd have a live pianist who was playing that while the actors were playing. But melodramatic means something.
Yeah, it's taken on a different meaning.
Yeah,
but when you said it, I thought you meant literally a historical melodrama.
No, but what's so fun about the show is that each actor has to learn several different endings because based on like the audience, they like poll the audience. They're in the middle of a song and they're basically like, and then he died, so we don't know how this ends. That mystery never gets solved.
Okay.
So based on audience reaction, they perform a different ending every night.
Oh.
Based on, we choose who falls in love, we choose who ends up being the killer, then they play it out based on the combination of what you chose.
Oh, okay.
My sister did it in college. It's very fun.
Is it like improvised or are the different endings like all scripted?
No, they're all scripted.
So you got to memorize a lot of shit.
You do.
Oh, wow. And be ready to switch it up.
Every night.
Man, that sounds hard.
And everything's possible. There's like a brother-sister and there's a storyline where they end up together, like being the love interest, where they basically are just looking out at the audience telling you like, you're sick, you're disgusting. Why have you done this? That's
funny. I guess any good noir is a mystery, right? They're always looking for somebody. There's
right, Chinatown.
Ooh, Chinatown's a good mystery. That's a neo-noir, but that's one of the ones we're not allowed to talk about.
We're not?
Not really.
Every day there's something I can't talk about.
Well, that's made by Roman Polanski.
Oh, that's right. It is Polanski.
So the Polanski's tough for me because
Fucker.
I know, like a lot of, I really like his movies. he's tough for me to let go of, but man, do I like. Oh God, I do really love Chinatown.
It's a complicated thing.
That's a good one. There's mysteries on top of mysteries in that one. I think
we
clearly
talking. Have to get into some more mysteries because it's something we both like.
Mysteries might be a good one for like live watching.
Oh yeah,
because we can like guess.
We will live watch. We will commit right now to live watching Knives Out 3. On Midnight Local.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, you will find us on Stitcher, on Apple.
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Anywhere you get those podcasts, you can get them there. And you can also find us at youtube.com/midnightlocal.